In the previous days, before her departure, 15,000 people had paid 5 shillings each to tour the great ship, this symbol of Britain's economic and political resurgence. It is said that when she arrived in New York a few days later, there wasn't a single ashtray to be found on board. It's curious how this great ship has become a part of our, in a sense, collective memory. Everybody wants a part of her. I must say, Jonathan, it's great to see one of these elusive ashtrays.
They are quite rare, especially the larger size. It's the only one of the larger size in a colour that I've ever seen. So I believe they were actually designed specifically for the cocktail lounge, which was actually had a red theme, so that would make sense.
Makes sense. Now, what is it about the Queen Mary?
She had a character and grace and style that very few matched up. A lot of crew preferred her. She was always the favourite. She pulled the country out of the Depression. She was a benchmark for a lot of things that came after. So,
one of the things that's always intrigued me about ships is that they are, in fact, a totality. They have to survive as a floating city. And that, of course, means there's everything on board. And I think the Queen Mary was exceptional.
Queen Mary in particular had everything. She was the first ship that had a purpose-built synagogue. She had everything from hairdressers, W.H. Smiths on board. It was, as I said, a city at sea.
And that must also make collecting much more diverse.
Oh, you can find anything related to that ship, from, you know, the biscuits from a lifeboat tin ration box to carpets, rugs, silver plate, china, crystal, you name it. You'll find something, then you can tie it back to Queen Mary.
What is this table?
The table is from the second class smoking room, and I bought that myself about 10 years ago. I was lucky enough to find it in a junk shop, and I had to sort of dismantle it to bring it back through customs.
And that's it, is it?
Yeah, that's one of the tables in situ.
It's wonderful to have the positive identification, the documentary evidence that it is the right thing.
Yeah, no, they were especially designed for her, and it's a ship's table, a single leg with a centre of gravity with a weight in the bottom so it doesn't roll over in rough weather.
So it matters that things actually have to come off the ship. They have to have that sort of magical, almost mystical quality of association.
Yeah, very much that association. If you pick up a table, a store, a piece of silver plate, and you can open up a book, and there's this historic ship that all these famous people travelled on, that was such a piece of the nation. And then there you have that piece. It's that tangibility, that tactile nature of items that all collectors like.
I noticed this book you've got open here, which shows one of the great rooms, first class lounge. But what excites me is the fact that it's in colour. I'm so used to the black and white pictures, but to actually know the colour palette of a room like that, I think is extraordinary.
It's quite an important thing. I recently bought this book. I was very happy to find it because I actually own one of the rugs from this room.
Hang on a minute, you own one of the rugs?
Yeah, I was very, very fortunate to find one that had survived. They had been assumed that they'd all been destroyed until one appeared at auction, and I was fortunate enough to purchase it at an internet auction.
God, that's lucky, but what are you going to do with it?
Well, after having it for a couple of years and not really knowing what to do with it, I tracked down a very good, reputable, experienced rug restorer, cleaner, and it's going to be whisked off next week to be unrolled.
Jonathan's carpet has arrived at the workshops of Robert Behar, whose family has been in the carpet cleaning business since 1920.
So you have 4 pieces like this?
Yeah, 3 more pieces, yeah. Four in total, yes. And then just plain rugs either side on the runners in the main body of the room, which was 3 stories high and almost the width of the ship.
You can just see the people walking across it in their,
in their evening gowns,
cocktail dresses.
Before dinner, yes.
Diamonds dripping.
It hasn't ever been fully unrolled since it left the ship, so it's the first time I've really been able to examine it since it left the ship in 1967. They described this rug as in walking on clouds. They were that proud of it that it was that thick.
Yeah. It's not that it's so much it's that thick, it's the density.
Right.
Number of strands, wool strands per knot. Type of wool.
Yep.
And they used to dye everything by hand.
Oh, right, so this is all done...
It was hand-dyed.
It was hand-dyed. I didn't know that.
Yeah. And cleaning-wise, the thorough cleansing will make quite a big difference to this.
So it's the first time it's been cleaned in 40 3 odd years.
So we should keep the dirt.
Yeah, bottle it and sell it on eBay.
The magic of these objects goes on, each one bringing with it some of the glamour we associate with the ships. There is truly an elegiac